The window crashing this week was when he fired a whole bunch of more people, as mainly his whole communications staff, because they misadvised him on what his reaction should be to a cartoon.
Well, he essentially brought in people that had no experience as spokespeople for elected officials. They were good at promoting ideas, conservative ideas. We're talking about folks from the Illinois Policy Institute. They were brought in after the debacle over the budget, where he completely got steamrolled by Mike Madigan and figured his message wasn't getting out. So he brings in an entirely new staff of people that really have no experience in doing exactly what they're doing. Then there's this Illinois Policy Institute cartoon, which shows a black youngster essentially begging for school money from someone who looks like a developer who has his pockets turned inside out.
Or a lawmaker.
Or a lawmaker.
But
it said TIF funds. It was labeled TIF funds.
Right.
It says, sorry, kid, we're broke. Some people took umbrage at that, thought it was racially insensitive. The governor would never still has not made a statement about it, whether he thought it was racially insensitive, but his staff put out a kind of an equivocal statement that had an incredibly inartful line in it that said, as a white male and governor, I have nothing more to add to this discussion. And when the governor heard that, he absolutely hit the roof.
And then when it was asked again, he says, I'm not going to apologize for what I did or didn't say.
The governor so mishandled this from the beginning.
Is he just tone deaf?
He started with, I haven't seen the cartoon, which was absolutely incredulous. And he could have so been done with this a week ago or more by just saying, yes, I saw it, have even the response that he had yesterday, finally. But to say he hadn't seen it just did not make sense. And so we had to keep asking.
And he was also trying to separate himself from this cartoon, which, as he pointed out, I didn't draw. It's not mine. But, of course, he had so aligned himself with the Illinois Policy Institute, it was hard to tell where one began and the other ended,
and of course,
which is one reason all 4 of his staffers wound up going out the door in the wake of this complete debacle.
I don't think he should, going forward, have to answer to the Illinois Policy Institute on everything. But at this moment, right after Charlottesville, with this cartoon and then with the statement, and if you're going to so concentrate hiring from one organization, and I mean, the Illinois Policy Institute is a lightning rod on certain issues in Springfield, and so he needed to answer to that cartoon. And I think the lesson is, when Marianne Ahern starts asking you questions about it, answer, because she's not going away. And she kept asking him every day, and finally he had to respond.
I feel like debacle is a great word for it. It screams of disorganization, miscommunication, not everybody on the same page. And it goes back to the way it's reflecting on him, to what Marianne said. He couldn't have been overridden again. He is in this precarious point of saying the same thing again and again and not really moving forward. And this just screams of dysfunction.
What about the innocent question, though? Was it a racist cartoon?
I don't think it was a racist cartoon. I think it was, if you just looked at the imagery, it was uncomfortable, but the actual message was in favor of what the Chicago Teachers Union has talked about, that TIF funds are abused, and that's money that should be flowing to Chicago public schools that is instead being stockpiled and spent as a little piggy bank.
I can see why people have said it was racist, and there were some racial overtones
well, you sound
in this.
like a politician. Is it or isn't it?
I don't think that's I think cartoons are meant to be provocative.
I was not offended by it. And I think Democrats certainly were ginning up the game a little bit. I mean, they leaped on this, and some of it may have been manufactured outrage. But the point is, as governor, you're in a position where you have to deal with that.
Yes.
And it was dealt with so poorly that almost regardless of the content of the cartoon, he kind of dug a hole for himself and then jumped in.